warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 10. We will present the result of our group discussion about abstract. Before that, allow me to introduce the group members. First, introduce my name is Fitria Asma'ul Jannah, NPM 2110101026. Second, Anisatul Yulmiana, NPM 2110101025. 3. Amri Azhari, NPM 2140101171. Last, Agustina Anantalia Pamungkas, NPM 2140101182. Abstract concisely report the aims and outcomes of your research so that readers know exactly what the paper is about. Abstracts are often indexed along with keywords on academic data, so they make your work more easily findable. Since the abstract is the first thing any reader sees, it's important that it clearly and accurately summarizes the contents of your paper. What is the purpose of abstracts? An abstract is a concise summary of an academic text, or such as a journal article or dissertation. It serves two main purposes. First, to help potential readers determine the relevance of your paper for their own research. Second, to communicate your key findings to those who don't have time to read the whole paper. Overview 1. An abstract is a short summary of your complete research, approximately 200 words. 2. It is intended to describe your work without going into great details. 3. Based on the abstract, the reader will often decide if he or she wants to read the whole report. 4. Abstracts should be self-contained and concise, explaining your work as briefly and clearly as possible. 5. Different disciplines call for slightly different approaches to abstracts. 6. In a dissertation or thesis, include the abstract on a separate page, after the title page and acknowledgement, but before the table of content. When to write abstract? 1. When submitting articles to journals, especially online journals. 2. When applying for research grants. 3. When writing a book proposal when completing the PhD dissertation or MA thesis. 4. When writing a proposal for a conference paper. 5. When writing a proposal for a book chapter. Abstract feature. Write the abstract at the very end when you have completed the rest of the text. There are things to be included in abstract creation. 1. Title. 2. Introduction or background. 3. Purpose or aim. 4. Material or population. 5. Methods. 6. Key results or arguments. 7. Conclusion. 8. Reference. 9. Keywords.
Number 1. Title. Content the precise information clearly and concisely informs the reader of the practical report topic. A title may be provided to you. E.g. Influence of nitrate on the modulation of medic. Example. First, the crystallization of supersulfate crystal. Second, supersulfate crystallization. 3. Purification of supersulfate by crystallization. Number 2, background. Some background information. 1. Basic routines that should be achieved a 7th grade student is an ability to appreciate poems, provides background information needed for the reader to understand the content and purpose of the experiment. At, at the end of the introduction, the aim is clearly stated. Number 3, purpose or aim. The study aimed to find out first, what thinking style called nature with structural analysis as well as Pamungkas treated with semiotic analysis. Second, were there significant difference in abilities to appreciate poems between students treated with structural analysis and those treated with semiotic analysis. Number 4, material. Include as much detail as possible about the material used in your experiment. Exact name of the material, concentration or mass, volume, company of origin.
Point 5 is methods. The part should be a straightforward for describe for your deed in 1 or 2 sentences. It is usually written in the past simple tense as reference to complete action. The research was experimental in nature. The population of this research consisted of 7th grade students of Grahwak Junior School 3, Magelang Regency. The research sample consisted of 35 students from the 8A classroom and other 35 from HB. Number 6 is result. Summarized in the main result, this part of the abstract can be in the present or past simple tense, depending on how long and complex your research is. You may not be able to introduce a result here. Try to highlight on the most important findings that will allow readers to understand your conclusion. In the discussion session, use underlying theory of explain how you achieve your result as we what their main imply, include any errors and how they may have effects to your data. That means discuss trend, shape of graph, and underlying impression of the data, and completion to know value or theories. Do not just report results but analyze them. And the next. Point 7, conclusion. The conclusion is a statement that ensures the objective. The conclusion explains the result from the perspective of the entire experiment. Should not present new information. If there are important limitations or your research, for example, related to your sample size or methods, you should mention them briefly in the abstract. If your aim was to solve a proposal problem, the conclusion means is recommendation for implementation. If relevant, you can brief make suggestion for future reader. Endpoint A reference. Present the experiment.
The keyword is word of praise that you feel capture the most important aspect of your article. This keyword should reference the most important elements of the research to help potential readers find your paper during their own literature searches. And the are types and tips. Types of abstract. 1. Descriptive abstract is suggested for topics that are inclined to theoretical research instead of practical studies. 2. The informative abstract is suggested for topics that have more practical relevance and less of theoretical research. 3. Critical abstract is suggested if you are contradicting a previously published work to a great extent. Then the real tips for writing an abstract. Follow these simple tips. checks for the grammar, check for flow of information, trim extra information, reverse outline, read other abstract, write clearly and concisely, focus on your own research, check your formatting, do not miss any must include information. The kind of information given in background details using the present tense. For example, the industry is already well known for its effort to improve the eco-efficiency of its processes. In the bottom line is describing the research activity, use simple past tense or present perfect tense. For example, the study focused on two main areas. The framework for life cycle analysis has been developed. In the bottom line is focus, describing the method. Use simple past tense. For example, we carried out a series of field tests. In the bottom line is carried. A large number of samples were tested for factoring. In the bottom line were tested. Reporting result. Use simple past tense. For example, result indicate that the problem is even more serious than previously predicted. In the bottom line is indicate. The third model proved to be more durable than the other four. In the bottom line is proof. Stating conclusion. Use present tense. Verb indicating tentative finds is possible, is likely, appears, seem, and might. Modal auxiliary verbs can, might, could, and might. For example, this indicates that there are, in fact, several factors contributing to the decrease. In the bottom line is indicates. It appears that the incidence of human error cannot be eliminated at any stage. In the bottom line are appears and cannot be. There might be a need for receiving the list of criteria within the next 5 until 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all of our presentation today, and before we close my presentation today, we have a conclusion of our presentation. The conclusion is abstract writing cannot be complete at one. Likewise with essays, abstract writing also requires practice in order to create a good writing result. Nowadays, the writing of APA or American Psychology Association style has become popular in college. Although this writing guide is not the only existing writing guide, the style of the APA is chosen for its acceptance by many universities in the world, and therefore for its adjustment and acclaim. So, ladies and gentlemen, we think at the end of our presentation today, we hope our presentation will be useful to you, and see you next. Even thank you for being a great audience.